The architects of reality, the sandbox, the builders, and the sailors of time. Reality is not something that simply exists. It is something that is shaped, observed, and navigated. At its most fundamental level, the universe was not built by a singular force, but by the emergent interactions of collective consciousness. Every act of observation, every thought, and every intention sends ripples through the quantum ocean, influencing the very structure of existence. The sandbox, the birth of creation. Imagine a child in a sandbox, discovering for the first time that they can shape their surroundings. At first, the impact is small, just a handful of sand moved into place, but as the child learns, their creations become more complex, more deliberate. Now expand this to a cosmic scale. The first act of conscious observation was the first ripple in the vast quantum ocean. The universe itself was not built in the way a structure is built. It emerged from interaction, from waves collapsing into form. Every conscious being is, in essence, that child in the sandbox, shaping reality with each moment of awareness. Most people never realize the depth of their influence. They see only what is in front of them, mistaking perception for limitation. They drift, unaware that they have the ability to shape the waves they ride. But some, just a rare few, begin to understand. They begin to see beyond the illusion of stillness. They recognize the currents, the hidden flow of reality beneath what seems solid. The builders of the universe, masters of the flow. Throughout history, many have sought the origins of existence, often attributing creation to divine figures or cosmic architects. But what if these so-called gods were never supernatural at all? What if they were simply conscious entities who had learned to navigate the structure of reality? What if they had mastered the ability to interact with the wave function of the universe itself? What if their power was not mystical, but the direct result of understanding how to move through time, space, and consciousness in ways beyond ordinary perception? The difference between drifting and navigating is awareness. Some beings move through existence passively, experiencing only the immediate reality presented to them. Others begin to swim, to interact with the currents rather than be carried by them. And a few, a very few, learn to sail, to harness the flow, to move through time and space with precision, to bend the structure of reality itself. These are not gods. They are masters of the wave function. They are navigators of the quantum ocean. They did not create the universe, but they have learned how to move through it in ways that seem impossible to those who remain trapped in the current. To a drifting leaf, a speedboat would seem like a divine force. To an ant floating in a river, a fish that swims freely would seem to possess supernatural abilities. To those locked within the perception of linear time, an entity that can step outside of it would appear godlike. But these are not miracles. These are skills. These are laws of the universe waiting to be understood. Learning to sail, the path to mastery. For most, the illusion of reality remains unbroken. They see the ocean, but they do not recognize the waves. They move through time, but they do not question its flow. They observe reality, but they do not realize that observation itself is what shapes it. But for those who awaken to the truth, the ocean changes. They no longer feel as though reality is fixed. They see it as fluid. They no longer believe they are powerless passengers. They recognize they can navigate. They no longer see time as a straight line. They realize it is a current that can be understood and, perhaps, transcended. This means the current of reality is not absolute. It can be influenced. Time is not rigid. It is a medium through which awareness can move. Every thought, every act of observation, every intention sends out ripples that shape what comes next. Those who recognize this cease to be passive observers of the universe. They become participants in its creation. They become navigators, sailors, architects of possibility. The final realization, the next step in conscious evolution. If reality is shaped by observation, then there is no upper limit to what can be done. If conscious thought directs the wave function, then awareness is the most powerful force in existence. If some have mastered this before, then mastery is not only possible, it is the next step in the evolution of intelligence. If thought itself shapes the world, then the future is not something that happens to people, it is something they create. For those who choose to remain within the current, Reality will always seem fixed, linear, immutable. For those who learn to navigate, the universe is a vast ocean of possibility, waiting to be explored. And for those who master the currents, they do not simply observe the quantum ocean. They enter it, they shape it, they become the force that moves it forward.